Hi, this is Jeff Van Patten with the Star-Herald. I'm speaking today with Chuck and Mayra Heeman, the owners of the Western Nebraska Pioneers. So you guys just recently returned to released your schedule. Last year you guys had a shortened season. Is it kind of back to a normal season this year?
Yeah, we're going to be back to 64 games, 32 home, 32 road. The state of Nebraska is kind of lifting their restrictions, so that's really positive news for us. And so by the time we get to May 25th, which will be our home opener, we feel really good about being able to be really pretty much back to normal. I'm sure there'll be some restrictions that we'll have to take on our end as far as how our concessions workers operate and all that. But it sounds like we'll be able to be back at full strength and get all of our fans back in. So back to 64 games. Obviously at this point of the year, we feel really good about what's coming. We're going to be making a lot of what we think are some good improvements that the fans have asked for, and that we think will be able to operate better. But we're really, really excited about this year, especially after the stress really of last year.
Yeah. What are some of those improvements you guys are?
There's a few things. Like for instance, we are very well aware that our concessions operation is really one of our biggest issues that we have to deal with. We just don't have a large enough area to work with to feed the people like they would like. So we are buying a full grill trailer, for instance. That'll be basically a second concession stand. We're going to move our merchandise stand. The Ryan Windhorst Wells Fargo merchandise stand will be up near the front gate, so people don't have to search for things, to get their wristbands for alcohol, to look at our selection of T-shirts. We're going to be spreading out our concessions a little more so that people will be able to get what they want when they want it. We're in the works to get a brand new kids playground at the ballpark. We're working with the city of Gering on that. We should know for sure in March on that. But just some things at the ballpark that we think fans will enjoy, and a lot of stuff is things that fans have asked for. So we're kind of in a position now to be able to do that, and all those things are in the works right now. Even though we're still in the wintertime, you work on this stuff all year long, so things are coming.
And last year you guys started using the fan food app.
Yes.
For orders. Is that something you guys are going to continue this season?
Absolutely. The fan food app is a really neat thing, and for people that don't know, it allows you to order food from your seat. And that way you don't have to get up, wait in line for 2 innings to get a hot dog or something to drink. And then this app alerts you when it's ready. And you come down, get your food, and go back. We are working with them this year to find a way to make it so that we can actually take the food to your seat. So that's going to be an improvement on the fan food app. And I think it was brand new last year, and as you know, last year we got a late start. We didn't even know that we were going to play until about 2 weeks before we played. We thought we were not going to play, so we had to put a lot of things in place in a big hurry. And I think we didn't do a good enough job of educating our fans on how things like that work. There's a couple things that we're adding. Fan food is one of them. There's going to be an online jersey auction apparatus that we're going to use. So we'll have time now to kind of educate. With the fan food app in particular, as people kind of understood how it worked, it really picked up steam as the season went on. So that's something that we're going to keep, and again, be able to give people what they want when they want it.
Yeah, and last year we talked about some of the changes you made. You had to add additional staff while delivering food. I mean, you guys will have to add additional staff for that as well.
Yep, absolutely. We'll do that. And in the course of spreading out our concessions, we're going to be adding, so we'll be hiring more people, putting more people to work this summer, which is a big thing for us. One of the things about having the Pioneers here is that we want to bring economic impact to the community, and a way that we can do that is to hire people. So as we have a second concession stand, as we implement, another thing we're doing this summer is there's going to be designated days where they're all-you-can-eat nights. The only ticket you can buy is a game ticket and all you can eat. And that means additional staffing for the tables and things like that. So one of the cool things about it is that we're able to hire people during the summer and give them a little extra income. No one's going to make $1 million off working for the summer for the Pioneers, but it's a great job, for somebody just looking to make a few bucks in the summer. So that's one of the cool things is that we bring that economic impact.
And one of the things too that Chuck and I are always very, very conscientious of, having people afford, families afford, with kids, be able to afford to come out to a game. And we know that with the pandemic, it hit, people's pockets, and we're all suffering. So we sat down, we thought, okay, how can we make it so that it's better and cheaper for people to come out, families, to come out and have a good time at the ballpark and be able to have a meal. So we're thinking, okay, if we do the all you can eat, $16, $17, I think we settled on 16
I
or
think it was 16, so,
16.
yes, so.
That includes your ticket, and it's all you can eat. I mean, you can't go wrong.
So you know exactly what you're spending.
Exactly.
You're not gonna, this is my budget for the game. I can eat 87 hot dogs if I want to, but this is all I'm gonna spend. One of the cool things, and we researched this, there are teams that do this around the country, and they do it very well. And you see, all of a sudden you see a couple fans doing a hot dog eating contest on their own, or how much popcorn can I stuff in my mouth in 3 minutes. So we're gonna play on that. So, but that was it. Like Mayra says, our goal from day one is to make this thing affordable for families. And this is the thing where, $16 you get your game ticket, which is $7 right there. You're on average going to spend more than that. Well, this is a way for you to take your family out. We're going to call them family picnic nights. You know exactly what you're spending. You're not going to get surprised at the end of the day. And we're going to try it on 5 dates this year. And again, there are teams that do this very well. So that's another thing that we're going to be bringing in. Another thing is every Sunday we're going to be doing special jersey auctions. A lot of our fans remember 2 years ago we did the moon landing jerseys to commemorate the 50th anniversary, and we raised money for Special Olympics. Well, we're going to do a series of those on every Sunday this year. We have 5 Sunday games. We're going to do one for Special Olympics. We're going to do one for the Humane Society with Bark in the Park. We are going to do one for the Teammates program and a Christmas in July one. So we have 5 planned. 4 of them are already set once we get those out. But we can raise a lot of money for charity doing that, and that's another one of our missions here. So a lot of things that I'm sure we don't even have time to get into yet that are going to be coming this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of Bark in the Park, I mean, you guys added a lot of fun promotions
was
last
awesome.
year.
It was
How successful was that for you guys?
Very, very neat. And I have to give credit to our intern staff from last year. We had a really, really fantastic group of interns last year. People that you could say, okay, we're going to do Bark in the Park on this day. You put the program together. Go see what other people do. And they got the photographer in, and they got it was just really neat. We had dog training people in. So we'll do it again this year. Robinson Electric presented it last year. We're going to actually talk to them later this week about doing it again. So things that you always in this business, what do people respond to? They responded very well to that. Even with COVID going on, people were bringing out their dogs and having fun. We had a dog parade. It was great. So we'll keep doing that. But yeah, Bark in the Park is coming back this year for sure.
You guys have a lot of fun on-field promotions too during the game. Do you guys have any new ones that you guys kind of came up with for this season? Or
I think this year our main one is going to be throw water balloons at Jeff Van Patten every day. And so every 5th inning you're going to get out there with a yes. See, we have people already volunteering for that. Get out there with a poncho on, and it's going to be and it's a good question because as you design your game day program, you don't want the same thing all the time. You do a mascot race, can't be the same mascot race every day. There are a couple things you keep. The Dizzy Bat race with Bud Light, you always keep that. But what we tell our interns, and we rely on them a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this half-inning contest. It's brought to you by Regional West. Think of 3 things that somehow tie to that, whether it's, a crutch race, or whatever it is. And we mix things up. So as we get our partners on board, we talk to them too. How do you want to be represented? So we kind of mix all that in, and then we put a program together for each and every of our 32 games. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. So as we get closer to the season and form those up, to be a lot of that.
Yeah, and a couple of those too. Like we've had ideas that where we've done this before, and for other teams where we worked with in prior years. It's like, for instance, Sweetheart of the Game, working with a flower shop. We did that in Casper, and it was very successful. I want to do that here because it's so neat. Yep. You pick a person every game, and that's your Sweetheart of the Game. Diamond Dig, working with a jewelry company or a jewelry store. So many things, and I get like all excited. Well, let's do this and let's do that. But then I think, well, we're throwing so much into one season.
Yeah.
You don't want to overwhelm
Yeah.
the fans either. So we got to keep, something for, upcoming years. We got all these ideas, but we're thinking, okay, we'll do that in 2022 or 2023.
Yeah, and I thought, you guys hired a new coach again for this season.
Correct.
Yes.
And I thought that was kind of an interesting story. Can you
Yeah.
tell us kind of how that came about?
Sure. In 2020, our coach was Ryan Sayers, and he was at the time was at Yakima Valley Junior College out of Washington. And over the course of the season, he got a job at Biola University, which is a high-level D2 school. But the deal was that he couldn't be a summer coach anymore because he had responsibilities there. He's in charge of running their kids camps during the summer, so he got that. So he couldn't return for 2021. Well, it so happened that Antonio Garcia was actually just driving through town on his way back to the University of Kansas, stopped in for a couple of days. He played for us the first year. He was our second baseman. And so he was on his way back, and it just happened to be at the time that Ryan Sayers was finding out about Biola. So we all three of us sat down and talked, and Antonio was interested in coaching, and so we brought him on as an assistant coach for the rest of the season, because we had Colton Taylor as an assistant coach, but he had gotten a promotion to a D1 school in Illinois and had to leave early. So Antonio's here, Ryan's here, Jack was here, and so as we started talking about, well, Ryan can't come back next year, started talking to Antonio. So he says, I'm very interested in it, and let's all sit and talk. So we talked about what the responsibilities are, the recruiting part of it, and then once you get the players here, what do we do to, make sure the players are where they need to be all the time. So the more we talked to Antonio, the more it seemed like he was a good fit for that. So, the last game of the season, and you guys were there, we just kind of handed off the baton to Antonio, and he's been fantastic. So, number one, excited to get back here. And number two, so bought in on his recruiting and getting the right fit for the players. And he's put, what looks on paper to be a really good team. When I look at the players that we signed, I don't know the players that well, but I know the schools that they come from. And so I look at the schools that he's bringing in people from, the Fresno States and the University of Kansas and places like that. So I feel really good about us kind of getting back to where we belong as far as the winning and losing part of it.
Yeah, and I know you already have one returning player signed for this coming season. Have you had others express an interest in returning?
Actually, we've got a couple now. We've got Thomas Javello was our first one. He signed before he left last year. I can't wait to get back here. Paul Pandero and Chandler Young from WNCC. And then I'm drawing a blank. There was another one, and I just can't. Mikey Kalia, the pitcher.
Oh yeah,
is coming back. So, and he was, when he left, he says, I really want to come back, but I got to clear it with my coach.
Yeah.
Once they got into fall ball and did that, he's back with us. So I'm thinking that's probably enough because we're pretty full right now. So it's always exciting when somebody comes here and they want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't always happen that way. So a lot of these guys are just they're here for the summer and they get on with their lives. But you get like somebody like Antonio Garcia. He's like, I can't wait to get back here. So you love that. It means that our community has really embraced them as people and as players. It's really fun to see.
Yeah, and from my interactions too with a lot of the players last year, especially like the ones from California, were really surprised by what we have out here, and they really liked it.
Yep, it's a different atmosphere for people, and it's not, if you're talking to a kid from California and hey, you're going to Gehring, Nebraska for the summer, and they have to look on a map and see where they go, and you look on a map and there's nothing around it. But when you get here, it's and that's why we fell in love with it. It's just a great place for the players to spend their summer, but for us to just be here. It's clean air, no traffic, great people.
And I'll tell you, after, because I like to communicate with the players families more often than not, they'll always make a trip out here to see their kid play. Talking to the host families. And I can assure you that two of the main things that our players buy into is, number one, the community. The fan, the enthusiasm that the fans show at the games, that welcoming vibe that they get. They always tell me, God, this is too good to be true. Are people really this nice? And I'm like, you know what? I've been here going on 4 years. Yes, these are genuinely nice community.
Yeah.
The host families, love their players. Players love their host families. The players' families get together with the host families. So that, in conjunction with the players coming into this town where they've never been, and for them to want to come back next season, and even just to visit. We have a lot of players who will come and just visit the host families from previous years that they played.
That's what Antonio was doing when he came through town. He was stopping to visit with his host family on his way back, and happened to come to a game. We started talking, and now he's the head coach.
Yeah.
And do you guys have a pretty good core of host families, or do you have to recruit like new ones each year?
I will hand that off
I
to
al-
the host family guru. Yeah.
I always say we can never have enough host families. Thank God this year, I've had a few that have come forward and say, hey, if you need any new host families, I'm here. I'll be your backup. I have host families that were with us year one that for one reason or another couldn't do it year two. Now they're coming back. So thank God. I mean, we're blessed to where we can say we have to host, or we have to find a host family for our interns. And that was at first was a little bit of a dilemma for the host families, because host families want to host players.
Yeah.
They don't want to host interns, But then once they get to know the interns, these kids are, they're great kids. They're here because they have an objective. They have to fulfill their internship. But once they get to know the host families, and again, just the atmosphere of the games. These kids are just so, put me in with a host family. And the host families to buy into that, thank God they do. Because that's always a problem in any league, in any team, to find a host family for the interns. And here, I haven't had that issue. So I always welcome new host families. Don't get me wrong, please. Feel free to contact me for that.
Well, we're also really blessed to have a great network of
Yes.
people already. It's just
Yes.
been, this has been fantastic here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you guys stopping by.
Well, thanks
Yeah,
for the
of course.
time. Really
Anytime.
appreciate it. Anytime. We can always talk about the Pioneers. We
Oh,
can
yeah.
Go on for hours about the Pioneers. Yep. We'll appreciate the time, Jeff.